Hello everyone, P here, bringing you an in-depth Camille guide. For those of you that don't know me, I am a Camille one-trick. Last season, Season 7, I never even touched Camille. I didn't even know she existed. And I ended up Silver 4. Upon one-tricking this champion in Season 8, knowing almost everything about her, I got the Diamond 5 within a 5 to 6 month climb. Now I will be telling you everything you need to know in terms of runes, items, and matchups. Now, let's get on to the runes. Now, by far the best rune page you'll ever go into tanks is going to be Conqueror. The bonus attack damage and true damage you get will help you shred those pesky tanks you hate going against, alright? Now second, you'll be going into Triumph. You'll never get Overheal or Presence of Mind as it does virtually nothing for you, and Triumph gives you an additional 20 gold which helps you get to your core items a lot faster. Now down here, Alacrity, Tenacity, and Bloodline. You'll never ever take Bloodline. It's not worth ever taking on Camille. And between Alacrity and Tenacity, it's all situational. If you're against a heavy CC team, with like Morgana Stun, Maokai Root, Slow, Knock Up, Sejuani, Slow, Snare, Stun, you're going to be taking Tenacity, alright? Now, if they don't have heavy CC, you're just going to be going into Alacrity as it synergizes well with the true damage you'll be getting off on every auto, and with your ultimate, which does percent damage on every auto as well. Now, the last rune here, you're going to be taking Coup de Grace, as the lower... Camille is a burst. She does a lot of burst damage. So you're going to be getting enemy champions really low, and to finish them off, you're going to need a little bit more damage, right? So that's why you're going to be taking Coup de Grace. You'll never take Cut Down because after your core items, you're going to be building your HP tank items. And Last Stand, you'll never take because you're not Tryndamere, alright? Now, secondary rune pages goes, you're going to be going Sudden Impact, Relentless, or Eyeball Collection instead of Relentless. If you're against a tank matchup you know you can beat, such as Maokai. Now, if you're against a tank that can fight you, such as Garen, you'll be taking Bone Plating and Chrysalis. And last but not least, if you're against a tank champion that's going to be poking you down, you're going to be taking Bone Plating and Second Wind, alright? Those will be the best runes you can take against tank matchups. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, with these runes, Triumph, Alacrity, Coup de Grace, you can just use those runes between going into Press the Attack, Fleet Footwork, and Conqueror. Never will you ever get Lethal Tempo unless you're doing a troll on-hit a troll on-hit Camille build, alright? So yeah. Now if you're really looking to take a rune page from the Domination tree, the only rune you'll get is Electrocute. Predator, Dark Harvest, and Halo Blades are not very good on Camille. I highly recommend you don't go them. The only times you really ever take Electrocute anyways is against your really squishy matchups like Quinn or Karthus. Or if you're jungle, if you're trying to get those really good ganks off. Now, next you can either take Cheap Shot or Sudden Impact. I preferably take Sudden Impact as you get the burst of lethality immediately on your E, and then the next few autos you're going to be getting, right? After that, you can either take Eyeball Collection, which is what I usually go, because if you're going to take Electrocute, you're most likely going to snowball against the very, very few matchups that you're going to be using it against. Or you can even take Ghost Poro because it's nice to have vision, especially in anywhere. And also, if you place Ghost Poro in enemy territory, you get bonus AD, which is basically Adaptive Force. Last but not least, you'll be taking Relentless Hunter, bonus movement speed. If you're going to have Electrocute, you might as well have the movement speed to get onto your targets when you're out of combat before you even are actually fighting them. You want to get on top of them somehow, right? So Relentless Hunter is going to be the next rune you will take. Now, as for the secondary rune pages, it's the same thing, honestly, all situational. I preferably would be taking Triumph and Coup de Grace if you're jungle. However, if you're not jungle and you're in the top lane and you're fighting against those ranged matchups you're just trying to burst down immediately, then you'll be taking Bone Plating and Second Wind just to survive through their laning phase, alright? And now we're done with the Domination tree. Now, in the Sorcery tree, you'll only be ever taking 2 runes, alright? And that's going to be Arcane Comet with Phase Rush. Only times you'll ever be taking Arcane Comet is when you're against a laner who happens to be poking you or keeping you away from CS. So in return, you're going to have to poke back with your W or CS with your W. Anytime you take Arcane Comet, you will most likely be putting 2 to 3 points into your W. And Phase Rush, I only take into 2 champions called Darius and Nasus. You could also take Phase Rush into heavy slow teams. However, I personally don't do that. Now with Arcane Comet, your best friend's going to be Mana Flow Band, just because you're going to be spamming your W, so you're going to go pretty quickly. And Mana Flow Band gives you a bonus of 250 mana, which obviously helps. And not to mention, once you have 250 mana from the Mana Flow Band, It restores 1% of your missing mana every 5 seconds, which means you get to stay in lane and spam out that W even more. Now, you could also take Nullifying Orb as the second rune here, because if you're against a heavy AP team, you're going to need that AP shield once you're low, so you can tank some of that damage, hopefully giving you a kill, or you get to survive and get away with your life. Now, third rune you'll only take out of these three is going to be Celerity, because Camille's Q gives her movement speed, and Celerity gives you more damage based on bonus movement speed, so it's really good, alright? Last but not least, is going to be Scorched. It's the only rune you'll ever take out of these three. Unless you're jungle, then you're obviously going to be taking water walking for your roams. But yeah, every 10 seconds, your W is pretty much every 10 seconds as well. So that's good damage right there. And it will apply a little bit more pressure, and it might be the difference between a kill or not a kill, okay? Now, since Sorcery is basically, quote-unquote, your defensive rune page, you're always going to be taking bow plating and second wind, because you're only really taking Sorcery into those ranged matchups that are going to be poking you, or matchups that make your lane a living hell, alright? So, bone plating second wind, or bone plating at Chrysalis. And we're done with the Sorcery rune page. Last but not least, the Resolve tree. Now, before we get into this tree, I do want to say that you will never be running Inspiration ever in Ranked, okay? It does not provide you with any benefits to help you climb. Now, back into the Resolve tree, you'll only be taking Grasp the Undying or Aftershock. These two runes are pretty much the best runes you can ever take on Resolve. Grasp the Undying is for the lane matchups that you are just trying to survive against, such as Renekton or Darius. And Aftershock, I only take when I'm against a Kali, or if I'm adapting to my team comp. Meaning, if there's not a single tank on my team, and my team needs a frontline, I'll get Aftershock, since it gives you bonus armor and magic resist once you stun someone. Now, second here, you'll be taking Bone Plating, because it's just so broken right now, reducing so much damage for free. And Demolish, not needed. After your core items and points into your queue, you'll be taking turrets so fast on your own. And this isn't even worth mentioning. Like, it's actually just not worth it at all. Third here, you can take any one of these runes. Conditioning, really good if you're still trying to play that tanky style, giving you bonus armor and magic resist. Second wind if you're against those poke matchups. And Chrysalis if you just want the HP and dueling prowess, okay? Last but not least, Overgrowth. Gain additional permanent max health when minions or monsters die near you, help you with that tanky playstyle you are doing. And Unflinching gives you increased tenacity after using a summoner spell such as Flash, Teleport, Ignite, etc. to help you get onto your opponents a lot faster and deal the damage you need to do. And Revitalize, correct me if I'm wrong, it does not do anything for you, okay? Because your passive shield is not increased by Revitalize. If it was, then I'd probably take this 90% of the time, but it does not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I am 99% sure it does not increase your passive shielding. Now, as far as your secondary runes go, I always take Precision because it gives you that 9% attack speed, which is so helpful on Camille, especially with your R key, as it does bonus % damage on every auto. And in here, I always take Triumph and Coup de Grace. Additional 20 gold and restore 12% of your missing health is always going to be good. And even if you go that tanky play style, Camille is still going to be doing a lot of damage. So Coup de Grace does help. Now, if you don't want Coup de Grace, you could swap it for Tenacity, just so you can stay on top of your opponents a lot longer. Just very situational if you either go Tenacity or Coup de Grace. With now being done with the runes, we can finally get onto the items. Before we get onto the items, I do want to say that the builds that I will be showing you are not cookie cutter. You will not be using them 100% of the time. They're not bread and butter, you know? You're not going to always be using this. Items are situational, so depending on what you're against is pretty much what you're going to build. You need some common sense when you're dealing with items, alright? But of course, for this split push build here, your core item is going to be Trinity Force. As always, it does so much damage. And after that, your boots, they're situational. Are you against 3 AP? Are you against 3 AD? Are you against a lot of CC? Then you're going to want Mercury Treads, right? Now, if you're against auto attackers or heavy AD team, then you want Ninja Tabby to block 12% of damage from auto attacks and give you some armor. Now, as I said, if you're split pushing, you want Ravenous Hydra. Helps you clear that wave so well. Gives you that lifesteal in case you had to end up 1v1ing. Or when you finish 1v1, you're still split pushing, you get that lifesteal. Sarah's Gauge here gives you a tad bit more damage after Darius gauge and nerf. It doesn't give you the bonus true damage that we all miss on Camille, but that's alright. It's still a pretty good item nonetheless. And then the last two items you're going to be building is all situational, honestly. If you're really far ahead, you want to take Guardian Angel, because if they send multiple people towards you, and you can 1v2 as Camille, but if you end up dying and you lose your G8 as well, you make sure you waste a lot of their time to help your team secure other objectives like Baron or a different turret, right? And then, you know, you could literally fill it with anything. Dead Man's Plate, Randuin, Spirit Visage, it does not matter. The last two items are situational. Now, when facing against full AP teams, getting to your core items might be just a tad bit slower because you're going to be rushing a Hex Drinker if they're going to be poking you out of lane really hard. And eventually it will go into a Maw of Malmortius anyways, so it's going to be really good. And then the usual Trinity Force, Ravenous or Titanic Hydra. Now, the way you decide between these two is whether they have a lot of squishy mages that you can just burst down immediately, then you're going to be getting Ravenous Hydra. Now, if you're afraid of their burst or they have a lot of tanky mages, then you're going to be going Titanic Hydra so you get that HP along with them, okay? Then obviously your Merc chest for their CC and AP damage. Maw Mortis is complete, and last but not least, you will be getting Adaptive and Spirit Visage right here. It's just really good. They're full AP. They're the best AP items you can get, so just pick them up. Now, when you're against full AD teams, it's honestly just freeload because there's so many armor items you can just pick up that's in the game. For example, you got Randuin's Omen over here, Dead Man's Plate, Guardian Angel, Thornmail, Righteous Glory, Ninja Tabi. There's just too many armor items that you can just pick up any single one, and you can just survive through the full AD team. 90% of the time you'll be taking Titanic Hydra because 450 HP is like really good, especially when you're building a lot of armor. And your passive, not your passive, your active from Titanic Hydra scales well with HP, so the more HP you have, the more damage you're going to do. Very rarely you'll get Ravenous Hydra unless their entire full AD team is apparently squishy and you can just burst your way through them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's say you got your core items and you honestly just don't know what to build, then these are all of your situational items here. Thornmail against full heavy auto attackers, Randuins against their ADCs fed crit, Righteous if your team needs more than just your abilities as an engage, Dead Man's if you want more damage but also armor, alright? Spirit Visage, you know, magic resist increases your healing by Ravenous Hydra or, you know, your supports. Adaptive Helmet against damage over time champions like Fiddlesticks R, Cassiopeia, Twisted Fate, etc. Abyssal Mask if it's your mid laner's AP snowballing or your AP jungler snowballing, you can pick up this so they can do more damage while you get magic resist and get tankier. QSS if you know they have a lot of CC such as Malzahar R, you always want to QSS that. Maw of Malmortius as well, situational. Wit's End against full AP comps. Steric's Gauge also situational. Ever since the nerf, you don't have to always build this as a third item anymore. You can just go full tank or a different damage item. Black Cleaver is very situational. If you're on a full AD team and they need to do damage as well, you will get Black Cleaver. That way you're shredding their armor for your team and they can start doing a lot more damage. And the last two ones are Guardian Angel and Warmog's Armor. I put this under situation because you don't always need Guardian Angel. Because if you're going like tanky frontline, then you're not going to get a Guardian Angel for your team, right? However, Warmog's Armor is very situational. If you get a lot of burst, or if you know you can get in and out of the fight really quickly, and your Warmog's just going to prop, and you're just going to be healing so much, you'll be ready to go back straight into the fight once you're, you know, about half HP or full. Yeah, it's really up to you. Alright, before we get into the matchups, I am going to say that I'm not going to talk about every single top lane matchup because that's actually just ridiculous. Instead, I'll be going over her hardest matchups, and if you have any questions about other champions, please just let me know in the comment sections below, or if you even have questions about the ones I did talk about, just hit me up down in the comment section. Alright, so the first matchup we'll be talking about is Fiora. Now, into Fiora, you want to take Press the Attack, and you're either going to rush Tiamat or Ninja Tabi. Unfortunately, Fiora's kit essentially counter Camille's, whereas she can parry your Q2, stun, or even your ultimate. However, everything Fiora does is completely outplayable. So if she ever ults you, make sure you're hugging the wall, that way she doesn't get every single vital proc. You want to ensure that you keep the wave closer to your side of the map, that way she can't just chase you down the lane, alright? If you're really struggling with Fiora or you don't even give her the chance, you could rush Ninja Tabby into Bramble Vest, but keep in mind that that delays your mid-game power spikes. Darius, I literally banned this little shit. I perma-banned him every single game. Darius can easily just snowball off of Camille, and if not, he can be 0-10 and still snowball. Like, it's actually insane. He's one of those champions where if he's behind, he will do anything, alright? So, if you happen to not ban Darius like I do, then you're going to be getting either Comet or Phase Rush. I preferably get Phase Rush, and I rush Phage and Tier 1 boots. So, you're going to max EQW, and you could win the lane, but you shouldn't always try to, alright? So, whenever he uses an ability such as Q or E, you want to go for a short trade. Because once his abilities come back up, he can actually kill you very easily, honestly. Try to keep the minion wave frozen near your turret and request ganks as much as possible. That way, you aren't falling behind because of Darius pressure or how insanely strong his base damages are. Yeah, that's the Darius matchup. Oh my god, if I could ban 2 champions, I'd ban Jax too. Jax is an extremely hard matchup for Camille. It's just so annoying. Like, oh my god. Into this matchup, you want to take Arcane Comet and you want to rush Phage and Ninja Tabby, alright? So, the first ability you'll be maxing is E and then go into Q. Now, when you take Arcane Comet, you could put a second point into it, but it's not preferred because you just want to level up your E. That way you can disengage as fast as possible. So, when Jax goes for his Counter-Strike, you want to E away. That way you dodge the stun, and if possible, you could leap back onto him and go for a short trade. Because when his Counter-Strike is down, that's your cooldown window to do some damage back. That way he doesn't completely shove you out of the lane. Now just try to scale the late game, and that's when you can finally 1v1 him. Alawi versus Camille is a skill-based matchup. It's really about you just being able to dodge all of her tentacles and not trying to get hit with her E, because her E is her main source of damage. Now, into this matchup, you want to take press the attack, and you want to rush Tiamat and max E first. Reason why you're rushing Tiamat is because she's going to want to try to push you under turret so hard, that way she can pressure you under turret. But if you answer with Tiamat, then you should be fine. Now, the moment she misses her E, you want to go in for a quick trade, then disappear. Because, as I said before, I believe so, her E is her main source of damage, right? So, once that's down, you're free to go in for a trade. And remember, you can dodge her ultimate with your ultimate. Kled, another one of Camille's hardest matchups, honestly. It really sucks when you're against him. I recommend you get Grassy Undying, Rush Phage, and if you're not confident against Kled, you're going to get Ninja Tabby, alright? You're going to be maxing in skill order EQW, and you honestly should be able to win level 1 trades, but you might even be able to dismount him. But after that, it just starts hurting, okay? Once Kled has his W, you will not trade with him until he uses it on the minion wave, alright? Because if you do, it's going to hurt and you will never win those trades, because Kled does so much damage early. Now, if he lands his Q, you can either just walk away or you can E away. It's really up to you. And once he's dismounted, make sure to dodge his pistol bullets, his gun, alright? Because it builds up courage really fast, even when he's hitting you. By the way, if his courage bar is almost back up and he's really low, don't get baited, because he will hop back on the Kled and then he will kill you. Well, not Kled. His name is Scarro, okay? And be prepared to wake up, because when he presses his R, you're going to have to answer quickly with a teleport or get something on the map. Oh my god. Jace really makes lane a living hell. Into this matchup, you want to Grass the Undying or Aftershock, but preferably I take Grass the Undying. You're going to be rushing Ninja Tab, you're going to max EQW. Now, Jace is literally just going to poke you constantly and try to get you out of lane, make you useless. But he falls off into late game, so it's going to be really easy for you to put him down once it's mid to late game. If Jace goes full on lethality, he can kill you, but that means you can one-shot him in return once it hits late game. Alright? There's not really much to this matchup. Just play safe, dodge his abilities, and don't take too much damage, and don't feed. Now, anytime the enemy team chose Camille, I would always pick Fiora because she counters Camille so hard. As Camille, you want to be taking Comet or Grass the Undying, and you want to rush Tiamat while also putting 3 points into your W, alright? But only put 3 points in your W if you went Arcane Comet. And after that, you're going to max Q, E, then W. The only thing that makes the lane a living hell is Yorick's goals. His ghouls do so much damage that it's actually insane. That's the reason why you're putting 3 points in the W and you're rushing TMS, so you can clear his ghouls efficiently while also pushing the wave that he's going to constantly shove right back at you. Once you're 6th, lane should be easy, but be careful though. Alright, and with that, I will be closing off the in-depth Camille guide. Now, I know it wasn't the most articulate guide there was, however, this was my first ever guide, and I do hope that it has helped you guys or a lot of people. So if it has helped you and you would hope to see me make more into the future, you know, that's a lot more literate and better well spoken, please hit that like button, comment down below, ask me any questions, tell me what I should do better next guide, and make sure to subscribe because we struggling out here. All right, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.